class, welcome again in your English Kaksha. Today we are going to start your second book, Snapshot, and we will read very first chapter of this book, The Summer of the White Beautiful Horse. It is written by William Saroyan, and this story is actually about two Armenian boys who belong to a tribe whose hallmark are trust and honesty. Hallmark means identification. They were popular for their trust and honesty. And the Armenian boys are Aram and Murad. These are the two characters that we are going to read in this story. So let's start the story now. One day back there in the good old days when I was 9 and the world was full of every imaginable kind of magnificence and life was still a delightful and mysterious dream, my cousin Murad, who was considered crazy by everybody who knew him except me, came to my house at 4 in the morning and woke me up tapping on the window of my room. One day back there in good old days means good old memories. Here the author is telling us about the good old memories when he was of 9 years old. And for him or for his cousin, the world was full of every imaginable thing that was full of magnificence, that was very wonderful, and the life was still a delightful and mysterious dream. And for them, life was very delightful, life was very happy and mysterious, like a dream. And my cousin, who was considered crazy by everybody who knew him except me, and his cousin Murad, to whom everyone thought to be crazy. Crazy means very excited boy, except the author, came to my house at 4 in the morning. One day, his cousin Murad came to his house at 4 o'clock in the morning and woke him up while knocking at the window of his room. Tapping means knocking on the window of his room. And what he said? He said, Aram. He called him Aram. I jumped out of the bed and looked out of the window. While listening his name, Murad jumped up from his bed and looked out of the window. I couldn't believe what I saw. What did he see? It wasn't morning yet. It was not full morning, but it was summer, and with daybreak, not many minutes around the corner of the world, it was light enough for me to know it was not dreaming. He's saying that whatever he saw out of the window, he was very surprised to see that first thing that it was not morning. Still, the stars were there in the sky and it was about to daybreak. And then after, he noticed that he was not dreaming, means it was not a dream, because my cousin Murad was sitting on a beautiful white horse. What he noticed that his cousin Murad was sitting on a white beautiful horse. I stuck my head out of the window and rubbed my eyes. Stuck means he get off his head out of the window and rubbed his eyes to just believe the fact that his cousin Murad was sitting on a white horse. Yes, he said in Armenian, it's a horse. Armenian means in the Armenian language. He said, yes, it's a horse. You are not dreaming. Make it quick if you want to ride. He said, it's not a dream. If you want to ride, then come fast. I knew my cousin Murad enjoyed being alive more than anybody else who had ever fallen into the world by mistake. But this was more than even I could believe. Here, he said, I knew my cousin very well, who can, by mistake if he had done anything, he enjoyed that mistake also. But today what was there, he thought it was not to be believed. Whatever he was carrying with him. What he was carrying with him? He was carrying a horse, white horse. In the first place, my earliest memories had been memories of a horse and my first longings had been longings to ride. He was saying that, he's saying actually wherever his memories are considered, he was actually having a strong will to ride a horse, and that was his first desire. And this was the wonderful part. And on that day when he was carrying a white horse with him, it was a wonderful part of that longing. In the second place, we were poor, and second thing, first he was carrying a horse, and second thing, they were poor, and they were not able to carry a horse by their own. This was the part that wouldn't permit me to believe what I saw. And this was the only reason, that's why I was not going to believe that Murad was having a horse by himself. We were poor, we had no money, our whole tribe was poverty stricken. Every branch of Gregorian family, Gregorian is actually the Armenian tribe to which they were belonging. This is the name of their tribe. He is saying that their tribe was poverty stricken and every family of that tribe was most amazing and comical in their poverty, because nobody could understand where we ever got money enough to keep us with food in our bellies. Not even the old men of the family. They were too poor that even no one of them was having the idea from where they could have the enough money to get their food. And most important of all, though we were famous for our honesty, and top of the thing was that they were very honest and they were popular for their honesty also. We had been famous for our honesty for something like 11 centuries, and even when we had been the wealthiest family in what we liked to think was the world. We were proud first, next honest, and after that we believed in right and wrong. He's saying that their tribe was too proud upon their honesty, and then after, because it was carrying the same record from last 11 centuries, they were first proud and then keeping the same honesty, and after that they were believing in the things that were right and wrong for each and every one. None of us would take advantage of anybody in the world, let alone steal. He is saying that nobody of them was ever thought to cheat anyone. Consequently, even though I could see the horse so magnificent, even though I could smell it so lovely, even though I could hear it breathing so exciting, I couldn't believe the horse had anything to do with my cousin Murad, or with me or any of the members of our family, asleep or awake, because any of the members of their family asleep or awake, because he couldn't have bought it, he must have stolen it, and I refuse to believe he had stolen it. Actually, he was actually not going to believe it, because he was thinking that he was too poor, he was not able to buy that horse. So it means the other thing is only there, that he has stolen the horse, and if he has stolen, and that thing was not to be believed, because he was belonging to the same tribe. Which tribe? Gregorian tribe. And this tribe was famous for their honesty, right? No member of the Gregorian family could be a thief. I stared first at my cousin and then at the horse. There was a pious stillness and humor in each of them, which on the one hand delighted me and the other hand frightened me. And he was staring at his cousin Murad and looking at, why he was looking at him? Because he was not believing that he had stolen it. But there was a pious stillness. There was a clear stillness, religious stillness, that, and humor also. One way he was delighted to see the horse, and second way he was frightened to see the horse, whether he has stolen it or not. Murad, I said, where did you steal this horse? He asked him. The author asked him, where did you steal this horse? Leap out of the window, he said, if you want to ride. But in spite of answering my question, he said, come out of the window if you want to ride it. It was true then, he had stolen the horse. Now I guess that he had stolen the horse. There was no question about it. He had come to invite me to ride or not, as I chose. He said now there he was to invite him, and this is up to him whether he want to ride the horse or not. Well, it seemed to me stealing a horse for a ride was not the same thing as stealing something else, such as money. For all I knew, maybe it wasn't stealing at all. If you were crazy about the horse the way my cousin Murad and I wasn't stealing. It wouldn't become stealing until we offered to sell the horse, which of course I knew we would never do. And he's saying that if we have stolen the horse just for riding, that will not be considered a stealing, because we are not going to sell the horse, right? Let me put on some clothes, I said. All right, he said, but hurry. I leaped into my clothes. I jumped down to the yard from the window and leaped up onto the horse behind my cousin Murad. When he permitted me to put on my clothes, I jumped into my clothes. It means I put on my clothes in a very hurry and then I jumped down the yard from the window and leaped onto the horse on which my cousin Murad was sitting. That year we lived at the edge of the town on Walnut Avenue. Walnut, you know, अखरोट को बोला जाता है walnut, right? Walnut Avenue. Behind our house was the country. Country means like a village where vineyards, orchards, irrigation ditches, country roads, these all were there. In less than 3 minutes we were on Olive Avenue and then the horse began to trot. Trot means to jump or to run fast. The air was new and lovely to breathe. The feel of the horse running was wonderful. My cousin Murad, who was considered one of the craziest members of our family, began to sing. I mean, he began to roar. Roar means he was singing very loud and it was not seeming like a singing, it was just like a roaring. Right? Every family has a crazy streak. It in somewhere. हर एक फैमिली में कोई पागल होता है. And my cousin Murad was considered the natural descendant of the crazy streak in our tribe. And in their tribe also there was a crazy streak. And this boy, Murad, was the successor of that streak. Who is that streak? We will see in the next line. Before him was our uncle Khusro. He was Uncle Khusro and Murad was his successor. And Khusro was an enormous man with a powerful head of black hair and the largest mustache in the San Joaquin Valley. A man so furious in temper, so irritable, so impatient that he stopped anyone from talking by roaring, "It is no harm, pay no attention to it." And he was a very large man. Large means he was very tall, having big mustache, and he was very furious in temper, very irritated and very impatient. And even though he could stop anyone before talking or while talking, when he roared in a one sentence, "It is no harm, pay no attention to it," means अगर कोई भी उसके सामने कोई बात करने की कोशिश करता भी था, he was very irritating man or impatient man that he always dictated only one dialogue, that was, "It is no harm, pay no attention to it." That was all, no matter what anybody happened to be talking about. Once it was his own son Eric running 8 blocks to the barber shop where his father was having his mustache trimmed to tell him their house was on fire. Once it was his own son. एक बार उसका खुद का बेटा एरिक जो कि 8 दुकानें पार करके उस बार्बर शॉप पे आया जहाँ वो खुद अपनी कटिंग करवा रहा था. And why he was there? He was just there to tell him that their house was on fire. And this man Khusro sat up in the chair and roared, "It is no harm, pay no attention to it." The barber said, "But the boy says your house is on fire." So Khusro roared, "Enough, it is no harm, I say." When barber stressed on the same thing, that he is saying your house is on fire, the same tone Khusro picked up and he roared again, "Enough, it is no harm, I said." Means he was a crazy streak, and this crazy streak was following by his successor Murad. My cousin Murad was considered the natural descendant of this man, although Murad's father was Jarab, who was practical and nothing else. That's how it was in our tribe. A man could be father of his son flesh, but that didn't mean that he was also the father of his spirit. Here he is saying that बेटा बाप की तरह हो सकता है, but बाप बेटे की तरह नहीं हो सकता. The distribution of the various kinds of the spirit of our tribe had been from the beginning capricious and vagrant. Here capricious, limited. Capricious means limited and vagrant means excited. He is saying that our tribe had been from the beginning very limited and excited. Means some of the persons were very limited in their nature and some were very excited. We rode and my cousin Murad sang, and then after he is saying that they were just riding on the horse and his cousin Murad was sinking continuously. For all anybody knew, we were still in the old country where, at least according to some of our neighbors, we belonged. We let the horse run as long as it felt like running. They were nearby the country where everybody was knowing them that they are from their neighboring tribe, and the horse was running as fast as they felt it like running. At last my cousin Murad said, "Get down, I want to ride alone." After that, Murad told me to get down from the horse because he wanted to ride that horse alone. "Will you let me ride alone?" I asked. And the same question I asked him, will he let me allowed to ride on the horse alone? That is up to the horse, my cousin said. "Get down. The horse will let me ride," I said. Now they were having an argument between them whether he would be allowed to ride alone or he would not be. "We shall see," he said. "Don't forget that I have a way with a horse." Well, I said, "Anyway you have with a horse, I have also." When he said, "I have an experience with the horse," Murad said, and then after, and I also said that he is having the same experience with the horse. "For the sake of your safety," he said, "let us hope so. Get down." "All right," I said, "but remember you have got to let me try to ride alone." He's saying that as he has promised him to give the horse and he will allow him to ride alone only then after he is getting down from the horse. I got down and my cousin Murad kicked his heels into the horse and shouted, "Wazir, run." The horse stood on its hind legs, snorted and burst into a fury of speed that was the loveliest. And by saying these words, my cousin Murad kicked his heels into the horse and he ran at a very fast speed. And that was the loveliest thing I had ever seen. My cousin Murad raced the horse across a field of dry grass to an irrigation ditch, crossed the ditch on the horse, and 5 minutes later returned dripping wet. When he was running or when he was racing on the horse, he crossed a dry field, and then after, when he came back after 5 minutes, he was dripping wet. The sun was coming up. Sun was coming up means now the day was breaking. It was rising. "Now it's my turn to ride," I said. Here, Aram said to his cousin that it was his turn now. My cousin Murad got off the horse. "Ride," he said. He got off the horse and he gave the horse to me to ride. I leaped to the back of the horse and for a moment knew the most awful fear imaginable. The horse did not move. As I leaped to the back of the horse, for a few minutes I was feeling the awful fear, and that was imaginable. And even the horse was not moving. "Kick into his muscles," my cousin Murad said. He said, "Kick on into his muscle. What are you waiting for? We have got to take him back before anybody in the world is up and about." Means to say that he was saying they have to return the horse before that anybody is getting up and they are just going to see them that they are riding on a horse. I kicked into the muscle of the horse. Once again it reared and snorted, and then it began to run. I didn't know what to do. Instead of running across the field to the irrigation ditch, the horse ran down the road to the vineyard of the Dikran Halabian, where it began to leap over vines. The horse leaped over 7 vines before I fell. Then it continued running. As the horse ran very fast, it actually, here what is given, the horse ran down the road into the vineyard of Dikran Halabian, where it began to leap over vines, and the horse leaped over 7 vines. It jumped from 7 vines together, and Aram fell down on the earth, and the horse continued its running. My cousin Murad came running down the road. "I'm not worried about you." Instead of showing the care to me, he said, "I'm not worried about you. We have got to get that horse. You go this way and I will go this way. If you come upon him, be kindly, I will be near. He said, if you would get the horse before me, then be kind with the horse and get it to me, because I would be very near to you. I continued down the road and my cousin Murad went across the field toward the irrigation ditch. It took him half an hour to find the horse and bring him back. After half an hour, Murad brought the horse back. All right, he said, jump on. The whole world is awake now. As it was daybreak and the day was fully risen up, people were awakened from their sleep. That's why he said, the world is awake now. What will we do? Now what we will do? I said. I said means Aram asked him what we have to do now. Well, he said, we will either take him back or hide him until tomorrow morning. He didn't sound worried. After saying this line, here Aram is saying that Murad was not worried a little bit. I know he had hide him and not take him back. Not for a while, at any rate. He was sure, because in the beginning we came to know that he was knowing him very well, except any other person. Now he came to know that he was not going to get him back, not for a while at any rate. Where we will hide him, I said. That's why Aram asked Murad, where will they hide him? I know a place, he said. How long did you steal this horse? I said. Now it was confirmed that he has stolen that horse, and that's why I said, how long did he had stolen this horse? It suddenly dawned on me that he had been taking these early mornings ride for some time and had come for me this morning only because he knew how much I longed to ride. Now I came to know the fact that only this morning he was not having this horse, because he was having for many mornings, and only this morning he came to me. It means वो कहता है कि मुझे ये लगता था कि आज ही नहीं, पिछले कई दिनों से वो उस हॉर्स को चला रहा था, और आज उसके पास वो इसलिए आया क्योंकि उसे ये पता था कि इट वॉज माई विश, इट वॉज माई लॉन्गिंग टू राइड अ हॉर्स. Who said anything about stealing a horse? He said. Anyhow, I said, how long ago did you begin riding every morning? And then Aram again wanted to confirm it from Murad that how many mornings he was riding that horse. Till this line we have read this text in this video. In the next video we will come with the next text. Till then, take care and goodbye.